Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. I am joined today by Prince from Bayern Fan TV. Prince, thank you very much for joining me, mate.
No worries.
Ahead of the big game next week, first leg at Anfield. I can't wait for this one. I bet you've been looking forward to it as well. But we're here to find out about Bayern Munich and what we can expect to see. So really for me, for this video, what I want to showcase is what this Bayern side are all about. And you tell us a little bit about maybe style of play and stuff like that. So we'll get into it then, Prince. Have you been doing in the league so far this season? I know you're second, you're a few points off top place. Has it been a bit of a disappointing season?
Yeah, certainly, especially at the beginning. At the beginning, I felt like we could have definitely done much better. I felt like we dropped a lot of points, especially the first 6, 7, 8 match days. We've slowly been getting back into form, but it's not perfect by any means. We still concede silly goals. Our defense has still been quite bad. But it seems like there is an upward trend, so we're starting to do better now, which is quite important, especially this being the important stages of the season. And Dortmund, who is currently in first, dropping points as well, kind of all works out a little bit for us at the moment. So hopefully it continues.
Is Lewandowski, I think he's your top scorer again this season, isn't he? I think he's got about 13 goals in the league for you and stuff like that. Is he still very much the main man?
Yes. Yes, that's one aspect of Bayern's play that hasn't changed. He is still the main attacker. He's still the main goal scorer, and this season he's been, I believe, our second highest assist maker as well. So pretty much all our attacks come through him at this point.
How are you lining around him? I mean, I know maybe long gone are the days of Ribery and Robben over there. You know, we've seen Gnabry and stuff like that. Who do you expect to play against this Liverpool side in that game?
Attacking wise, definitely, I think Gnabry and Coman, with Coman being on the left and Gnabry being on the right, with James behind Lewandowski, considering that Müller is out for the first leg. I think that's definitely how we're going to set up attacking wise, with Goretzka and then Thiago behind them, and then our defense consisting of Kimmich, Hummels, probably Süle, and Alaba, and then hopefully Neuer too.
Is Neuer going to be fit? That was my next question for you, mate. Is he going to be fit for this game?
That's a great question that I unfortunately can't answer. Usually, the issue with Bayern really is that they never really state clearly how long a player is out. They will say, oh yeah, he'll be out for a few days. Well, it's been a few days now and he's still not fully fit. Apparently, it was supposed to be a sprained hand that was healed after a week, but he still hasn't started since then, so that's a good question.
And what's the backup goalie like?
Ulreich, he isn't bad, but he does silly mistakes. So he pulls off a worldie in 1 minute and then just somehow allows a simple shot or a simple back pass to go in the next minute. So it's going to be quite interesting to see.
Is it as big a loss as maybe I think of Neuer being out if he is to miss the game?
Yes, certainly. I think more so his leadership than anything else, because this season he has struggled quite a lot. I mean, he was injured for the majority of last season, so he's been slowly getting back to form. He's slowly getting better as well, of course. The last few matches that he's had, he was quite good. But he's not at 100% just yet. So this hand spraining injury, it couldn't have come at a worse time, in all fairness.
What about style of play, mate? How do you expect Bayern to approach this game?
To be fair, we changed our style of play quite a lot this season alone. Niko Kovac being quite an inexperienced coach. At the beginning, we mainly crossed. So most of our play came through our wings, but like slowly over these last few weeks, we've been playing a lot more through the middle. Most of our goals have actually come through the middle. So that includes James, Müller, our wing backs, and our wingers cutting in. So lately our goals have come a lot through central, but then again we do have a tendency to cross when our back is on it, when we're really trying to get that goal, when it's last minute it's a last minute effort. That's when we're really just crossing it into the box, hope and cross basically.
Well, that's it, and you can understand why with Lewandowski up there, can't you? I mean, he's an absolute gem of a player. He's been so good for so long now, and I think everyone in England recognises how good he's been, and you know the players behind him, the likes of Goretzka getting goals and assists this season as well. You know, you've got some fabulous players, and is this You obviously you've been following Bayern for a long time. You were saying to me you were born in Munich, you were from Munich, and you've been over in England a few years now. Is this Bayern side? Is it on a bit of a dip, or are they keeping the same level, or is it coming to the end of this sort of cycle of these players? What is going on?
It's definitely the end of an era. Some of our previous best players, such as Ribery, I mean, previously Lam as well. Obviously, you'd had greats such as Robin. They're all getting into the twilight of their career, but we also have a lot of good young players coming in right now. So we're kind of in a transition phase, but the transition phase started almost 2 years ago, and now it's almost a second part of the transition phase. So we've had young players such as Coleman really doing well, Sula, who's now become our main centre back, doing really well. Obviously Kimmich and Kimmich especially being very young, Alaba being I think 26 or 27, so he's not at the peak of his career just yet. So you have a lot of players that are still getting better and better, but then of course you have your established team players, your established squad players that perhaps 3-4 years ago you would have counted on to be in that first 11. They're now slowly retiring. So we're kind of in a transition phase, but I feel like the transition phase is going quite smoothly. Many Bayern fans perhaps would have wanted a more aggressive transition phase with more wingers being there, us having more options on the wings. But I feel like overall we're doing quite a good transition phase, so I can't complain.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is obviously you've played Arsenal a couple of times in this competition and at this stage as well. Is what's the mood like from the Bayern Munich fan base? Is it a mood of confidence, or you're looking at Liverpool maybe as Champions League finalists last season, that a team that could give you a real tough couple of games?
Yeah, I think the Bayern fan base is kind of split in the middle. I know when I went to Munich during the summer, I asked quite a lot of my friends who lived there, and they all seemed quite confident. But then when I talked to people who I know that don't live in Munich, they seem quite worried and quite scared almost. So it really just depends who you're talking to. And I feel like the fan base is quite split in the middle. Like half of them think that, yeah, Liverpool, we're going to win just because we're used to turning up in the big games, apparently or supposedly. And then some people say, nah, Liverpool have just been way too good. They've been just too strong in the league. They've been too strong in the Champions League that it's going to be a very tough game and probably a terrible game for us considering how bad we are defensively.
Is that the real key to victory for Liverpool? Do you think it's getting at that Bayern Munich defence then?
Yes, absolutely. Our weakness in this season has been conceding counters. And especially that's something that you lot are good at. So it's gonna come down to who can score more goals, I feel like, rather than who can play better defensively.
What would you have preferred? Would you prefer the games to be set up this way so that it's away from home for you first and then back to the Allianz for the second game?
Yes, I generally prefer having a second game at home, just because I feel like that always gives the biggest push, in my opinion, just based on like the last couple of seasons. But obviously, going to Anfield, that's going to be a very difficult game because Neuer, as I said, we don't know whether he's out, and especially in such a big away game for us, our goal will be to not concede as many goals as possible. So he would be or will be very key in that.
I can't wait for this game, mate. I'm really looking forward to Liverpool testing themselves against one of the traditionally best sides in Europe. You know, you've been there or thereabouts for the last few years. You always seem to make the knockout stages. You come through a group with relative ease. I think you had 4 victories and 2 draws, and you know, not the biggest sides in European football, is it? Ajax, Benfica, and AEK Athens, but still. Mm-hmm. To come through with scoring about 15 goals, was it you scored in those 6 games? And Liverpool have been a bit up and down. I'm really looking forward to the game. Before you go then, what's your score prediction for the first tie of 2?
For the first game, I'll go with a hopeful score, which would, in my opinion, be a 1-1.
Okay, no problem. And don't forget to check out our video over on Bayern Fan TV, where I'll be previewing it from a Liverpool perspective for Prince and his channel. Link in the description, of course. Do check his channel out, subscribe to his channel, like the videos, like this video, subscribe to Redmen TV. Prince, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time on the Redmen TV.